Alright, so several videos back I did a haul where I showed you guys where I purchased the Jones Road What the Foundation Moisture Tint. And in that haul I kind of mentioned how I had tried it a time or two and I wasn't thrilled with it. And I will say that normally I do my skincare before coming in and doing my makeup, and then I've seen people post videos where it's kind of explained where you kind of use this in lieu of a moisturizer. So I just washed my face because I did a video where I was trying out the Patrick Ta foundation. If you want to see my thoughts on that, you can check it out here. But I was trying that out, and right now it's like 5:30. So I wore it all day today. And I finished up the video and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and film this one because I got another Jones Road order in the mail. I had ordered through Credo, I think it's Credo or Credo Beauty. They had a deal going on to where if you purchase the Jones Road mascara, which I did pick up here, you also got a free, where is it? I think, is this it? Yeah, it's like a lid luster. So I haven't tried these before and I was kind of interested in it, and I thought it was such a great deal to be able to get the mascara and that. But then also they had the new blushes from Jones Road. So I picked one of those up and I got the shade Sandy, which look how tiny this is. And it's also super hard to open. When I opened it and I first got it, it like damaged my nail and I still have to like go in and open it that way. Anyway, I picked this up and here's the shade. It's like not focusing on anything. What are you focusing on? There we go. I think it was like still back. Anyway, I picked this up and I also picked up a new lip product they came out with, and it's the Lip Tint in Nude Rose. So here that is. So the shades aren't quite what I thought they were online, so we'll see if it works together. But I was also thinking that since one of their newer balms that I have, which one is it here? No. I think it's in my declutter bin. Hold on. So funny, I just went ahead and decluttered it. So one of their newer balms in Flushed, I was thinking about it because the way I use their balms, and I mentioned it in the video I previously did, is like kind of like a skin protectant or like almost in lieu of like a facial setting spray. I will use them just kind of all over to kind of set the makeup in place with adding an element of moisture. Or also I like to use the bronze one if my foundation is a little bit off, and I just kind of go over lightly everything to kind of marry everything together. So I use them for different things, but this one I really couldn't figure out how to use because it's super pink and it doesn't show up enough like a blush would. But then today I was doing that Patrick Ta video and I used the blush palette that I had, and Patrick Ta suggested with his blushes that you go in with the powder first and then you kind of set the powder with the cream to add a little bit of luminosity. And I was like, what if I did this with the Bobbi Brown new blushes and this over, just to kind of see what it would look like. But we're gonna play around. I haven't used all of these products together because when I originally did my other video of these products, they hadn't come out with the foundation or the powder blush or any of that. So we're just gonna kind of play around. Again, since I haven't used these products together and a lot of the tones I have don't really go, I don't know what this look is gonna look like. So first, let's just go ahead and jump into this foundation, and I think I'm gonna film me opening it with my phone over here to the side, and you're gonna like see all my mess. But the reason I wanna show you how it opens with the phone is because it's absolutely disgusting. I hate the packaging and I hate that I have to mix it. So I'm gonna use the spatula to mix it up before I get some out. Okay, so here is the foundation, and I wanna open it and show you. I have one hand here. I ought to call Ansley. Oh, here we go. I was gonna call my daughter in here to be my camera hands. By the way, the little pull-out leaves on my desk are disgusting. Okay, so I store this upright. I don't know how the oil is coming up through and getting in here because I literally store it upright. And then the oils come up and it's almost impossible to pull this off. See if I can get my nail under the edge here. Oh. Okay, here we are. So I've pulled the top off and this is what it looks like. So we have that on the lid. Look how disgusting and oily my hands are. Then we go in there and you can see that it is separated. So like, look, it's like all separated in there. It's disgusting. It's all over my hands. So hold on a second. I'm going to wipe off my hands and we're gonna stir it up. Let's just start stirring it up. And you have to do this every time you use it. It's so gross. Like it's still not fully mixed in. Okay, so I think that's probably as good as we're gonna get it. Just clear some off, and then we'll use this. All right, so I have it mixed up, and we're just gonna start applying to the face. Again, I didn't do any skincare or anything this time because last time it didn't look so hot. Okay, so I'm putting this much on, and I'm just gonna rub it in like a moisturizer. And we'll see if that's better on my skin as opposed to over top of any kind of skincare. Because I found when I tried it before and I had put my skincare on for the day, that it was just kind of a mess. And this doesn't really have any coverage, but I think she said the whole idea was just to kind of look like you had a facial, which is fine. I like my freckles and I like my skin, so I'm not too worried about that. I just wanted to zoom you in so you could see. So I'm just gonna kind of work this in right here. And I'm hesitant to get it near the eyebrows or the hairline because I noticed before that the pigments, especially like you notice that I had to mix everything together, and because of that I feel like the pigments themselves aren't really meshed in with like the oils and everything in it, and so I get it close to the hairline. I noticed that the pigment like just kind of stuck and clung to my hairline. So I'm gonna look in the mirror and see if it's doing that now. Yeah, it is. Like the pigments just kind of cling to the hairs. But I think on the skin, it doesn't look too bad. But what I will say, it's sticky. And since she wants you to use it in place of your moisturizer, this is not moisturizing enough for me. But my face just feels kind of sticky. But we're just gonna kind of tap this around. And I'm gonna rub it down my neck. Okay, and that's it. I'm gonna put the lid back on this. I mean, absolute mess. Like I can't imagine anybody wanting to use this every day. All right, so I have a couple of these concealers and I have a more orangey one. I'm gonna try to color correct a little bit here and work it in. And again, since this is supposed to be kind of made to go with each other at this point, these should glide right over where you want to put them. But I find that since the foundation is kind of sticky instead of like super moisturizing, that it doesn't blend as well as you might want it to. And I'm just going to kind of correct a little bit of redness here. It just doesn't really blend on the skin like I want it to. And we'll kind of go in here. And I'm just going to get some on my finger. I'm going to try to go this way, warm it up on my finger first instead of drawing directly on my face. And I'm just going to kind of tap around the areas where there's excess redness, because I'm using a sort of pink blush today. And I don't want, I feel like your face has to be like corrected really well to like be able to pull off like a pink blush. Because then it just makes you look like you have extra redness on your face. So, I don't know that that even did anything. And I feel like since my fingers are sticky and my face is sticky, that the pigment, it just doesn't want to like stay. Like it's just so bizarre. Okay. I think this is as good as I'm gonna get it, which is fine. I mean, but my face is super sticky. I can't stress that enough. Can I like, hold on, if I go maybe like, you can even kind of like hear when I touch my skin, like it. All right, so I'm gonna put on a little bit of lip balm. This is the Ilia lip balm. I'm gonna put on a little bit of this while I do the rest of my face. And maybe my face will feel more moisturized after I put on the final step of the Miracle Balm. So maybe my face will feel better then. I just think it's gonna feel sticky. But let me just go ahead and hold thoughts and stop assuming. Okay, so I'm gonna jump in now with the blush. I only have three, well, I have like two eyeshadows. I have that new sparkle shadow that I got, and I have two eyeliners. I'm gonna kind of do the blush first to kind of get a feel for my face before I start adding in eye products, just so my look is somewhat cohesive. So I'm gonna get this. I have, here, I'm gonna use this blush brush from Refer and get it on here. I also want to point out these blushes are only 2.5 grams. They're in the same packaging as the eyeshadows. However, the eyeshadows are 2.8 grams, and then this one, for some reason I thought, and 3 so that's also weird. I have two different eyeshadows. My dark brown is in 3 grams, and then I have the shade Sienna, which is 2.8 grams. I find that to be a little bit odd. So maybe the blushes aren't all the same grams either. But this one that I have is 2.5 grams. And for reference, the amount, I have this NARS Orgasm mini blush that I got for free from Sephora. This little mini. And it is 3.5 grams. I also have this little mini blush from Laura Mercier in the shade Rosé, which again, I got for free as a sample, and it is 3 grams. So these blushes that I got free as a sample have more product than this does, and this blush I believe cost $28. So just kind of wanted to put that out there. So let's go ahead and apply this blush. And I was expecting this blush because of the name and the pictures I saw online. This blush is called Sandy. This is not very sandy. She's pink. So there it is. It's not bad, but it's like a mauvey pink color, and I was expecting it to be a little bit more on the nude side. I think this is a great color of blush for me because it actually kind of matches the areas on my face that are still red that I couldn't really cover. So this is a very natural kind of flush for me. And then I need to tone that down a little bit. So I'm gonna just take this brush and kind of blend the edges of that blush. Okay, and then my idea was that the Miracle Balm in Flushed would kind of set it and kind of give like a glow to the cheek. So I'm gonna go ahead, grab a little bit of that, and then rub it between my fingers because I don't want a whole lot. I'm not doing my whole face here. So I have it on my middle fingers here, and I'm just gonna kind of start dabbing it over top of that blush. See if it makes any kind of difference, if it enhances it at all, you know, just kind of see. So maybe a little bit of a sheen, but I don't find that it makes a huge difference. And I'll rub some of this on the back of my hand in case you're curious. So here it is here, and I never wear it alone as a blush because also, so there it is. It's just so sheer. And this formula I mentioned before in my other video, it doesn't set down ever. So throughout the day it moves around. And so this is kind of like the worst kind of formula for a blush. But let's just kind of tap in a little bit more, build it up. Okay, and again, I'm just gonna go over with this brush around the edges to kind of blend. So I think I'm gonna leave that there, and I'm gonna go ahead and go over my whole face with the bronze, which I like to do, which this is my most used product from the line, and really the only one that I'm like attached to. The rest of them, like I just pulled some out of the declutter. And I also decluttered a ton more. I used to have like every shade of this at the time. I think she's come out with some more shades now. I used to have every shade, and I got rid of all but like 3, and I gave them to my grandma to see if she liked them. So again, see how my hands are sheeny, and I'm just gonna kind of like place it over my whole face. And I'm going to do it around the eyes too, because I find that that concealer I used wasn't the greatest. All right, so my skin, in my opinion, looks very glowy, natural. I mean, the blush is there, but it's not like overly so. So I'm not hating it. I think it looks good in the camera. I'm looking at it, but like my face feels very sticky, like to the point to where my hair sticks to the side of my face. So I think that this kind of makeup would be perfect for somebody who has short hair. So it's not going to stick to their face, has dry skin. I also like to use it in the winter to kind of protect my skin, almost like a lip balm, but for your face. In the winter, I love to go on walks when it's cold outside, but also my skin gets super dry. So last winter, that's what I used these products mostly for. It's kind of just, I set my makeup down with it, and I kind of use it as a skin protector. But I don't find that this makeup is the most practical, the most useful, like all that stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm not vibing with the whole brand. There's a few products here and there that I think are great, but also I think a lot of them are great, but just not together also. Usually you think a brand that's like very cohesive, everything goes together. I see the vibe she's going for, but I also don't think that these products are practical and they work all together and that they last all day, which I think she realizes that they don't last all day because she talks about like them freshening up their makeup throughout the day. When I do my makeup in the morning, I want it to last all day. I don't feel the need to like freshen up. But anyway, so I'm gonna jump into these eyeshadows, and I think, I'm like trying to decide which one I'm gonna go into because I have 2 shades, and I'm gonna go with this one. I mean, I may end up going with the other, but, and I haven't really used this, I think, except for one time because the shade wasn't exactly what I was expecting it to be, which is always super hard to like match stuff online to the photos. So let's just go ahead and place this over the eyes. And also, her products don't come with an eye primer, which is fine. You can use your own. But if you're using like these sort of sticky, balmy textures on your face, what I find, especially with me trying to apply this, the brush is kind of sticking and it's like a little bit blotchy. I'm gonna take a little bit on this brush, kind of run it under the bottom lash line. And I want to use this that I got in my Credo Beauty order. I swatched it on my hand earlier. I've already washed it off. But I thought it was so pretty, but I wonder how it wears. And you kind of see I swatch it and it's a little bit patchy in the swatch, but I'm wondering if I like spread it out, you know, how it's gonna wear and all that good stuff. Because if I spread it out a ton like this, it just looks kind of wet, but like glittery. Anywho, let's get some on the fingers. I'm not gonna apply it directly from the tube to my eyes because, again, I wanna kind of prevent the patchiness. So I now have it on my fingers and I'm just gonna like pat it on over top of the eyeshadow. And it is equal. I feel like I got some in the tear duct area here that I didn't get on the other side. So I'm gonna get a little bit more on my fingers and try to even my eyes out. Ooh, a lot more one over there. Since it's kind of suspended, it's not really an even application. It's pretty, but I feel, and I went a little bit high. Oh, Lordy. So I'm gonna try to wipe some of that away. And I think I want to make sure that by wiping it away in one area, that I'm not like making it patchier. Okay. I feel like I need to, I feel like this is just going to keep going, me trying to make this product even. So just a dab, and I'm going to try to move it up through here. There we go. But then I have this dark eyeshadow I'm going to stick on this Wayne Goss and kind of use it. I was going to use it as a liner, but you know what? I do have a liner from Jones Road. I have two. I'm going to go in with the brown one, I think. Okay, and then I'm going to hop in with the brown shadow I was just mentioning, and I'm going to go over that, kind of blend it with the brown shadow. Then I'm just going to use this kind of smudger brush, and hopefully I don't regret this, but I'm going to smudge the eyeshadow a little bit in the liner so it looks more kind of smoky and diffused as opposed to like just on the lash line. So I'm going to jump off camera really quick and do my brows since I don't have any brow products from Jones Road, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I have the brows done. Let's go into the mascara. So this is what I have high hopes for. My friend Michelle, who is on Instagram, and I think she watches my channel here, and I'll have her channel, I guess, linked below, mentioned below, to where you can check it out. She loves this mascara, and I've even seen Bobbi Brown post videos talking about how this mascara had sold out and all this other stuff. So this is supposed to be the best mascara, and this is the wand. It's a rather large wand, and I don't know anything about the formula. I don't know if it's waterproof. It's just called the mascara in the shade Pitch Black. All right, so we're all zoomed in, and I'm gonna start applying it. I'm not curling my lashes or anything like that, and we're just gonna go in. Okay, so this is one coat. I think it looks pretty good. I don't know how it's gonna build on itself, how it's gonna wear, anything like that, but I'm gonna stick some on the other eye, and then maybe we might try for a second coat to see what we think. Right, dipping back in, and this is, I think I see, are there fibers in this? I don't know if that's fibers or we'll have to swatch it here on my arm here in a second and look. But I think this might be a fiber mascara. Okay, it's not combing through the lashes that well. So at this point, it's like kind of starting to clump the lashes together. I am going to even it out and put some on the other side, but this is kind of a one coat mascara situation for me. Okay, so this is with the mascara on, and I'm going to do the same thing I almost always do with mascara, since I find that curling lashes before putting on mascara sometimes isn't that great, and curling them after isn't. I just take my fingers while the mascara is still a little bit damp, and I blink into them. And I just push my lashes up. I'm like trying to look to see if there's any fibers on my hands. I don't see any fibers, so maybe it's not a fiber mascara, but when I was looking at the brush itself while applying, it kind of seemed like there were fibers. Like, I'll put you close and see if you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, see how like between the bristles, if it will focus, it kind of seems, yeah, there we go. But that could just be the way the formula is. I'm gonna put some on the back of my hand. Nope, there's fibers in it, or is that my hairs on my hand? I still don't know. It might have, I think it just coated the hairs, the little tiny hairs on my hand. I'm like, I have the urge to get a comb through here a little bit. I'm not sure that I love this mascara. All right, so I obviously can't give like a final verdict yet on the mascara, which we still have one more product to try out anyway, which is the new lip product. This is the shade Nude Rose. My hands are filthy right now. Let me take a moment and like wipe my hands off. Okay, so let's try this lip product. I'm gonna go ahead, I'll swatch some on my hand. I have like little glitters from the eye product on there still. But here it is swatched. And this is like more vivid than I thought it would be based off the shade, which is Nude Rose. I thought it'd be a little bit more nude. But let's go ahead and go in. There we are. So this is kind of just like a moisturizing balm, like a tinted moisturizing balm. And I have a feeling it's not gonna stay on the lips. I like my tinted balms to have like a little bit of almost like a waxiness to them, to where they stay where they're put. But this put on thin and kind of blotted out. I think this is going to be fine. Let's just take on my overall thoughts. So individually, I can see how these products would work. Maybe like a one-off product, like you find like maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 products that you like, but like all your makeup being Jones Road, I don't see it meshing well together. I'm not really sure about the aesthetic, because on the first hand, like the whole aesthetic kind of reads to me like effortless beauty, but then you have a glitter shadow in the mix, which is fine. Like sometimes effortless beauties, like a glitter shadow, like, you know, not a whole lot, like model off duty type skin, right? But if it's an effortless beauty, and this is not long wearing, it's not very effortless for you to have to reapply throughout the day. So there's that. I think that this would photograph well. Like it looks I think my skin looks way better than it looked trying the Patrick Ta foundation that I tried out today, which looks super dry. Yeah, I probably wouldn't do this all together. I think it looks fine. But okay, to the blush. The shades looked a little bit more interesting online. I thought this would be a more interesting blush shade. But as an example, Persona blushes. How many grams you got in here? 5 grams. $22. So these Persona blushes are $22, 5 grams, so cheaper, more product, but the colors are more interesting. So I have 3 shades, 2 of which I absolutely love because the shades are so flattering and so interesting. So this one right here is kind of close in shade, and this is the shade Caramel. So this is Caramel on my middle finger, and then this is the Jones Road on this finger. Caramel, Jones Road. This has like a beautiful kind of sheen to it that just melds with the skin. I find this is a drier formula. It looks okay, and it's fine that it's dry, especially since the foundation is like so damp. But I also find that since it is, you kind of have to work and kind of pat it in, like not swipe when you're applying the blush. And that's just like a whole added thing there. So, and then this shade right here, which is also Persona, is Georgia. It's a gorgeous sort of like peachy shade. It's like right here. I just find these colors to be more interesting. So again, I only have one of the Jones Road colors, blush colors, but just thought I would throw that out there that I'm not impressed by this one. And maybe I just chose the wrong one. But to me online, based off of the swatches and people wearing it, this to me looked like the most flattering, the most interesting one. Okay, so with that aside, then which I did a whole video explaining about how I use these. But the blush shade that I put over top, it's flushed. I think it looks okay. It looks like skin, but at the same time, my whole face is sticky. So there's that. But I think that this did set it. But to have this product for the sole purpose of setting your blush in and melding it in with the foundation so that your face is like texturally cohesive, seems a bit silly to me. So there's that. The mascara. All right, so the mascara is definitely one that builds on itself, but I like those really sort of like stiff plastic ones that really like comb through the lashes. I find here that my lashes are looking a bit like wonky and kind of clung together, which is great if you don't have a lot of lashes. That actually just makes your lashes look more full. So I think this is a good volumizing mascara if you're looking for that. But I will say, the wand is so big, you have to be careful. I think I did get a little bit on my lid over here. So you gotta be careful with the wand. The formula and application, it's kind of tough because they're just kind of suspended like in that gel, that you kind of have to like mix it, make sure, and then kind of like put it on so it's not patchy. But what I will say, I typically don't do like just full on glitter, and I think this looks pretty. The shadow that I put it over top of, while I don't find this to be like creasing or patching, I found that putting it over top of another shadow from Jones Road, and I don't know if it's because also I had just pressed in this over my face, but I find that area to kind of be patchy around the crease just a little bit. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but like just the color part, not the colored shadow part underneath, not the glitter. I find that the glitter actually stayed where it should. So I'm gonna play around with this, maybe use it over some other shadows, see what I think. But I kind of like it. All right, the lip product. The more I like work it into my lips, the more I like it. Again though, it's one that I'm going to put on very thin, not a thick layer, because it is so moisturizing, it's going to travel. And I just don't want lipstick all over my face. So if there's a color in this that interests you and you have dry lips, I say go for it. It's pretty comfortable. Do I think that it's anything that's not already on the market or that's special? No, not really. All right, and then I'm gonna try something. I have Magic Hour, which is this Miracle Balm, which is a little bit kind of like shimmery and highlighty. And I'm gonna put that almost like a highlight here. Let's see if that just ruins my makeup. But we're just gonna kind of go in there and work it, not really work it in, but kind of tap it in and see. Yeah, it adds a little bit of a shine. I don't think it adds like a ton of shine. I mean, it does a little bit. The problem with these products though, that since these Miracle Balms kind of like travel, they never like set in because it's a balm. And this one has like little like glitters suspended in it to kind of give that shine. I just know it's going to travel down my cheek over time, and these are going to be all over my face. But for photography, I think this might be nice. Like if you're just trying to get like a quick, effortless kind of look, it might be nice. Maybe if you're running to go get groceries and you want to just kind of make your skin look healthy, and you're not going to be out all day and you don't care if you need to reapply, these products are great. So yeah, I don't know. My final thoughts are most of these products are not necessary. Maybe find one or two that you're interested in based off of what I or anybody else have said about them. And, you know, do that, because I don't find that they work all together that well without a ton of finessing. It's not as effortless as you may think it is. Maybe it is for Bobbi Brown because she is obviously like a makeup artist that's been working for a long time. But to me, it's just not effortless beauty. Like I've been sitting here finagling with my fingers and doing stuff and mixing the foundation and doing all of that stuff. Whereas in, I have a stick foundation that I literally swipe on my face, buff in, pop on some mascara and blush and do my brows, and I'm out the door. So yeah, it's not really effortless. I mean, it looks like I didn't put in a lot of effort if that's what they're going for, but it's not like effortless. So I find nothing special about their eyeshadows or blushes. I do like their eyeliners. I do like the shades Bronze, Au Naturel, just kind of like setting makeup or getting rid of a powdery look without using setting spray. So I like setting spray. I think it's great, but in the winter I use it less because when you put setting spray all over your face and then it goes to evaporate, essentially it's pulling more moisture from your face. Whereas in using something like this to kind of get rid of that powdery look at the end of your makeup, just kind of locks everything in and can help kind of, you can use it as a barrier or, you know, anything like that to kind of keep everything in and keep you moisturized. So I like this in the winter. But I also want to mention that the whole, again, back to the touching up during the day with these products is like, they feel thick on the face. So if you're touching up, essentially for me, touching up for me would be like going to the bathroom, washing my face and starting over. I don't want to add more product on top of this already sort of like thick, sticky product. So those are my final thoughts. If she comes out with anything else that kind of intrigues me, I may pick it up, but I just don't think that this brand as a whole, like the aesthetic and all that stuff, I don't think it's cohesive. I don't think all the products work together and are cohesive. They just don't work for me. And I'm a dry-skinned person who loves that kind of stuff, but I just think it's too much. Okay, so one last check-in with this makeup. So Eric just got home a couple of minutes ago. He ran out to get us Chipotle, but he just got home a couple of minutes ago and I was like, how does my face look? Like, how's my makeup look? And he said, it looks fine. And I was like, okay, come over here and touch my face. And he put his finger on my face and he was like, it's sticky. So also, this camera is ruthless because my freckles are not that noticeable, but they're like really noticeable right now. I mean, I don't mind it. I like it, but there's that. But anyway, I also wanted to point out, because I'm like right up on my face now, you can kind of see my pores. And I think I mentioned this in my other Jones Road video that I did, but it kind of bothers me that the models, when they're applying the makeup, like in office, like demoing it, that they blur their faces. And that kind of bothers me. Like if you have a product, you should just kind of be like, this is what the product does, and just show people. Like, because here's the thing, I don't think I look bad. Like right now, I think my face looks moisturized and fresh. The eye makeup's a bit much, like the glitter with this fresh face, like that's a bit much, but I think my skin looks fine. It's sticky, but it looks fine. I don't think I need like a blur filter. And it bothers me not only when like companies like Jones Road uses a blur filter when demoing makeup, but it also bothers me when influencers do it on TikTok and Instagram. I think it's just kind of a little bit dishonest. And I know they blur stuff for a couple of different reasons. One, to either make makeup look better than it does to kind of sell you product, or two, because they're self-conscious. But I also think if people stopped using those beauty filters, and we would stop seeing people using the beauty filters and thinking that that's what their skin really looks like, and then we wouldn't be self-conscious about our skin. Like, I'm getting old. You can kind of see all my fine lines, all my freckles, all my pores, all my mustache hairs. I don't think it looks bad though. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.